the bearded Buddha for Shelty. It's a good start. I like what one of our texters said regarding my early quest to give him, the new manager, some sort of, Dalai Lama-like mystical nickname. All the best monikers are taken, guy. Who better to talk to at a time like this? Says, Dan, there's no need to hurry to get a nickname for Shelty. The Dalai Lama revealed itself over time.
Good point.
And it was perfect. Locally iconic, though he was only manager a few years, better to pick the right nickname rather than rush to a mediocre one. Very well stated. Very well said. I mean, I'll take Bearded Buddha under consideration. It's not a bad start, but let's let the nickname come to us.
I like it.
In all good time. And let's see if he can win. Did you look it up? Is it 13 in a row we had with
I didn't look it
Rocco?
up.
I thought it was 12 or 13.
Yeah, it was linked. I remember we had him on the day after the streak ended.
That's right.
About a year ago.
It was double digits. I remember that for sure. All right, don't forget Russo to talk about the Wild showdown against the Dallas Stars in Dallas tonight. Pre-game show extended at 7 o'clock Central tonight. Opening face-off just past 8 o'clock. But now it's inbox time.
It's time for Dr. Dan's Inbox.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day.
Every Thursday, usually around 4:30. Today at 4 o'clock, JG, KFAN. JG at KFAN.com. Dear Dr. Dan, I don't know why everybody is up in arms about the end of the season awards. Sure, the All-NBA teams won't feature C. Cunningham, L. Doncic, V. Wembanyama, or A. Edwards. And the Defensive Player of the Year award might go to Argo Bear for a record 5th time.
Oh, that's it.
But those awards have to represent all the abilities of our players on a basketball court, especially being on the court. For it is unquestioned that the greatest ability of all is availability. After all, Dr. Dan, just about anybody can put up 33.5 points, 11.5 rebounds, 9.9 assists, and or 3.1 blocks a game for 60 to 64 games this season. But only the truly special players can approach that level of production for 65 or more games. This from A. Silver.
That sounds like a shot at A. Silver, is what it is. That so? Is that the position that was touted via The Athletic yesterday, that all of these rules are stupid? The way that's written, it does seem foolish and silly to draw these distinctions.
Yeah.
But the distinction really isn't about how many games you have to have those kinds of numbers or averages to really be good. We all know why the rules were put in place by A. Silver. Frankly, I think if D. Stern had still been commissioner, it would have happened a lot sooner and might have even been more draconian. So, again, I would say respectfully to the letter writer, maybe we get to a place, and I don't even know how, though we guarantee this, that the players who sat too easily for silly reasons like general soreness, if they would pledge to end that practice, I think it would be easy to say, all right, let's renegotiate. I just don't know at this point whether they can be trusted. Frankly, Dr. Dan doesn't know if teams, or lots of organizations can be trusted in that regard as well. What you have to remember is that the reason no one had to go down this road before, even think about this before, was that it was automatically expected that you play. If you are healthy enough to play, you play. And who told me, was it the late, great Flip Saunders? I think it was him, basically saying the truth when you become a professional, in his case he was talking about basketball player, is that once you start your professional career, you will never be 100% again the rest of your career. Ever. And that, in fact, once upon a time, that was understood and accepted. Obviously, if you got a broken leg or a torn Achilles, you can't play, right? Or even a bad hammy, because that's legit. But there was this assumption that, well, I'm a little sore, I'm a little banged up, I'm a little tired. You play. And why was that? Because the best players played. That, I think, left the lesser players with very little choice. The best players thought that their responsibility wasn't just to try to get those fancy averages, but to play, no matter what their average might be in a given situation from year to year. And sadly, that sort of built-in discipline, self-imposed, had nothing to do with coaches and players, somehow went away. And because it went away, the league ultimately did exactly what it had to do. And so if that looks silly now, it's not the league that looks silly. It's the players who prompted it and precipitated it. Those are the ones, as far as I'm concerned, Dr. Dan feels should feel silly.
It's time for Dr. Dan's Inbox.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day.
Dear Dr. Dan, when can I expect your sincere apology to me and my family?
Oh.
It's been hard listening to your harsh criticisms day after day since you refuse to talk about the hottest team in baseball. I would like to offer you a little help as well. The question you should have been asking at the start of the show, Dr. Dan, is what investors will we be bringing in on before the trade deadline? We clearly don't need any more players. We are competitive and have $2 beers. What more do you need, Dan? Sincerely, T. Polat.
Boy, it doesn't take long for them to get haughty over there, huh?
Guess not.
One good week. Nice home start to the homestand. Sweeping one series. The question is, how much discipline will the ball guys, follow at this point? How quickly will they say to any of the naysayers out there, to any of the fans who they've mocked and ridiculed for having the temerity to not want to show up for a while, is this enough? Will it take another series? Because I think even they can't, with a straight face, say we've seen enough already, that those folks have to feel very silly about the fact that they're, quote-unquote, boycotting going to Twins games. It's not even April 15th, is it?
No, it's April 9th.
It's April 9th. By the way, Jordan, games played. 82, 18, that was an injury that sidelined the season. 82, 82, 81, 82, 82, 80, 78, 17, injury again, sidelined him. 82, 82, 82, and in Washington, last 2 years of his career, 60. And his last season, he played all 82 games.
Michael Jordan.
It's just, it writes itself, doesn't it? Anyway, you were saying?
I was thinking about Kay Garnett, who will be back in town on Sunday night.
What time's he on the show Friday?
We're working on it.
Are we?
Well, Friday? No, he's not coming on Friday.
Oh. Well,
he said this 4 years ago.
KG did?
Yeah, this is one of the first things we played.
Okay.
You get paid for 82.
Oh.
They pay you for 82. They pay you for 10 exhibition games. They pay you for the playoffs. They don't pay you to play 70. They pay you to play 82.
Pretty good. We played it at the time. It's one of my favorites.
It goes back to why you call these rules stupid. They look silly now. That's why they're in place. Shouldn't have to have been put in place. Should not have had to have been implemented. But just don't pretend they were invented out of thin air because somebody just decided they wanted to play tough. It was because the league knew it had a problem. Anyway.
You want to keep going or you want to come back with more?
Let's break. Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's stay on schedule. We'll come back with a couple more letters. And again, Russo is coming up at the top of the hour. News on the march I'm hoping to get into today as well. A lot of good text coming in on a number of subjects we will attempt to explore later. We've got news on the march, maybe a done as. Also, Russo coming up at 5 o'clock on a very, very busy agenda on this edition of the Afternoon Aardvark. We're in the middle of opening Dr. Dan's inbox. Let's go.
It's time for Dr. Dan's Inbox.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your
Still time, JG at KFAN.com. This one came in moments ago. Dear Dr. Dan, as once said by an American poet named G. Stein, whoever said money can't buy happiness didn't know where to shop. Perhaps G. Stein was correct. Your M Vikings spent a lot of money a year ago, but apparently didn't know where to shop. Nobody was happy. Your M Twins, regardless of their capacity to go shopping, decided to shop at the bargain bin at the discount store. Nobody was happy. Meanwhile, my team had the money and also knew where to shop. What did we get? 5 new starters and an NCAA championship. One shining moment.
Yeah.
And all our fans are quite happy. So, Dr. Dan, do you believe that money can buy happiness? D. May.
Man, that's a deep philosophical question.
It's a good one, I thought.
And a good one for anybody to consider. It probably depends on, well, he kind of lays it out. I mean, it's not just the spending of money, it's the spending of money wisely, right? I agree that if you have the extra money to sort of paper over some of your mistakes, chances are better that you're likely to get the players that you need. But we all know there have been some great teams, I should say great teams in terms of how expensive they are, that have not realized said potential and been very good. We've all said regarding the Twins all along that very few, other than a few irrational people, most fans are reasonable enough to understand that we're not going to compete ever with the LA Dodgers of the world, but no one was really asking them to do that. I think what they were asking them to do was to not cut payroll over the course of a couple of off seasons by close to $65 million. Now, if the comeback's going to be, well, how do we look so far? I hope folks aren't foolish enough in a real sense, not in a satiric sense, but in a real sense to say evidence is clear. It doesn't have to be about money. It just has to be about putting together the right kind of ragtag players and seeing them rally around each other and turn this thing into something. We're probably going to need to see a little bit more evidence. Maybe get to May 1st. In all actuality, you go back to the Tom Kelly days, he'd say go back to July 1st before we really even figure out what kind of baseball team that you have. So, no, money in of itself isn't always the answer, but it usually, in certainly the world of sports, does mean access to resources or more resources or resources that save you from perhaps poor investments in other areas. And in that case, you do have to have some money to play with. So we'll see where this goes. I mean, it is factual that the Minnesota Vikings have not been cheap, and they've gotten nowhere close to the Super Bowl in the last half century. Right? Okay, you can say
We've gotten close.
NFC title round is close, you're right. But they haven't gotten there. Minnesota Timberwolves have not been shy about spending a lot of money. Had some success, but we still haven't gotten there and won the whole thing. So it's not always about money, but the way the games are set up now, if it's difficult to believe you're going to give yourself even a chance in situations in which the team actually is performing better than expected, and you decide our answer is to punish those teams by taking more money away, making it even harder. It's difficult for me to believe that's a way to run any kind of a business.
It's time for Dr. Dan's Inbox.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day.
Dear Dr. Dan, it might be time for a change. I don't think you'll get much use out of me going forward as is, as really nothing with the M Twins has changed the last few years. In last night's game, R. Jeffers gave a T. Woods-like fist bump. After a home run, you ask? Nope. After a game-changing call reversal.
See?
Why don't you dust me off, and going forward, you can call me the changed call gong. This from D. Gong.
That's not a bad idea. So instead of, historically, the gong has been the home run gong for what we call in this show home runs, a dong, right?
The original gong was the K gong.
That's true. It started with the K gong.
Then the Bomba Squad came in 2019 and
actually
changed it
turned
to
it
the
back
dong
to
gong.
home runs.
Yeah.
Now maybe that should be what it is about. Maybe from now on, the number of times it's gonged that we play it is directly related to how many challenges on the ball strike system we have won after a given game. Is that in the box score now? I'm assuming it is.
Probably.
It probably should be. It's a play, I gotta believe. So we'll look that up. I didn't hear much today whether we were. I heard the Tigers appeal a ball was supposed to be ball 4, giving us another base runner, and it was turned into a strike 2. So they won on that appeal. I don't know if we won any appeals today or not. But, yeah, it's not a bad idea. Maybe that's what it evolves into. Because we always, on this show, it's always about change. It's always about trying something different. Last thing we want to do is run anything into the ground.
Evolution.
So what you do is you take the same sound and you associate something else with it.
You
I kind of like
reinvent
that.
it.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
It's time for Dr. Dan's Inbox.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day.
Dear Dr. Dan, a beloved player from my team in the past is making his long-awaited return to our arena this Sunday. I will not be there. That was kind of part of the deal. The people who bought my team are getting a lot of love, but don't you think that player should wait, being that the team will be just a shadow of itself on Sunday, given they already have the playoff spot locked up, and many of them might not play? Isn't it mean to charge the fans a lot of money for a game that will be a joke? G. Taylor.
Well, it's an interesting thought from G. Taylor, but is there any reason to believe that G. Taylor, if he'd won that arbitration hearing, that he would have reduced prices for this game in particular? I think not.
Hard to know. We'll never know.
Unlikely. But I do think, allegedly, you can bet on anything, right? In this day and age.
Yes.
I'm wondering what the posted odds would be on G. Taylor crashing the party for the Twins, I should say the Timberwolves, last home game of the 2025-26 regular season.
What if it cancels it? What if they cancel it because of it? What if KG walks in and leaves?
Well, I have no doubt he would. No, I'm being serious. I have no doubt
I
that
agree.
if he saw G. Taylor or any member of the Taylor family, he would simply walk right back out, get back on the private jet, and go back to Malibu.
I'm told they can't even have lasagna in the arena on Sunday. There's no lasagna.
That's probably a very smart move. Well, I think, though, in this case, I'm very curious to know what, like on the secondary market, tickets will be going for this game. Because there is nothing at stake from a playoff standpoint. We're in the 6. It's a matter of who we play.
Yep.
But most popular player in the history of the team, right? A franchise, Kay Garnett is back, finally, and this time we think for good. So therefore, I got to believe there's a lot of the old-timers that'll say, yeah, I'll pay a little extra. It'll feel a little bit historic to have him back in the gym. Don't you think?
Well, that's what they're hoping, for sure.
I think,
Part of it is interesting to me, though, because he's just going to be there.
Yeah, what's he going to do?
He can't play. His jersey's not going to be up there. Is he going to talk to the team before? I assume there'll be some kind of press conference before.
There's got to be a presser of some sort, and then do they give him a chance to grab the mic?
Yeah, and do the fourth quarter video live, the one he did when he was like 19.
Yeah, right.
Fourth quarter.
Well, that would be good if they had it side by side.
From
the original KG doing it.
That would be cool.
And then the current KG repeating it. I hope they've got some creativity going and some big plans because, as you say, he can't really play. So you have to, I think, be inventive with what you do with him in that situation because I think it could be a big deal for that day. I think people will get into it. Also under the guise of, okay, this is the last regular season game. Now this also can help us, get stoked up for the playoffs, even though we doubt that KG is going to be around for most of those games.
It's time for Dr. Dan's Inbox.
So I'm going to group a couple together, but read them one at a time.
All right.
This is from the same individual. Dear Dr. Dan, there's been talk about tacos when using my name. I like tacos. They're great. They're the best ever, especially carnitas. But only with American pork. It's the greatest ever pork. There's no better carnitas than at the great ballpark of Target Field. Not enough options for me, but it's a great American ballpark with a lot of great American stuff. That from D. Trump, who apparently was listening to Sunday sermons when you said there was too many options at Target Field. Was that it?
That was one of the things I said, yeah. I'm under siege as a result of it, but that's okay.
Dear Dr. Dan, we have several openings for leadership here in the military. We've heard there are many now available in the NBA. Dr. Dan, do you think G. Soreness would be able to lead with a warrior ethos in these trying times? We've heard there are quite a few in the league, particularly from those jockeying for playoff position. This from D. Trump and P. Hegseth.
Combination, you say?
Could G. Soreness help out in our mini conflicts right now?
I doubt it. I haven't even heard from him. Does G. Soreness even attend Warriors games? Is he even on the bench at this point?
I haven't seen him in forever. Did he hurt his Achilles? Is that what he hurt? What did he hurt?
It was a bad one.
Yeah.
It was a legit injury this time. It wasn't G.
ACL
Soreness.
maybe?
It was either ACL or Achilles. But it was, he went down hard. It does remind me of a text we got earlier in the show. Somebody claiming they really wanted this brought to Johnny Athletics' attention, that there's a hockey player who broke his arm 17 days ago and is going to be back playing. Now, I don't even know if it's true, but it fits the bit pretty nicely, doesn't it?
It does.
Less than
I think we gotta
3
go
weeks.
with it. Yeah, he's back.
Since he broke his arm, he's back out on the ice. It's too good. Some days it just writes itself.
I got one more. This is kind of a walk-off.
Okay.
And it shows you that even if it's ripping the reader, I'll read it. Dear Dr. Dan, did some quick math, which, as you know, is not easy for me. And 65 divided by 82 is about 79% as it pertains to the NBA, all-NBA teams. My question for you is, what's so bad about only showing up for work 79% of the time? This from Jay Gar.
Very well played. That's not bad at all. That's the walk-off?
Could be.
That's pretty good. Russo in a half hour. We still don't know where he is. We'll find out then. We do know that the Wild are in Dallas to take on the Stars. Big ball game tonight. Big game. All kinds of implications. Chance to pull even with them. That's the hope, at least. Also, I've got news on the march. I've got a done-as item. There's a lot more to get to. Please, stay with us.
Done.
Indeed, that time again. News on the march. Russo will be coming up, as I said, at the top of the hour. Let me get to item number. Let's take the items in the order in which I received them or picked them. Item number one. Interesting observation from an online source. Maybe updating the situation in the Middle East. From what I can tell, there's no agreement between the two sides on anything except maybe to stop shooting for 2 weeks. And as of this morning, even that part of it was not being honored by Iran. The deal exists, yet seems to have no actual content. This is the deal, at least to allegedly put off hostilities, suspend hostilities in Iran. But the truth is, there doesn't seem so far to be much evidence that there is any kind of deal that's meaningful that is in place. So stay tuned. We'll keep an eye on that as more things develop. But I think that's sort of, right now, it feels just more like a holding pattern that there's been more than that there's been any significant breakthrough in which either side seems particularly happy with what the results might indeed be. Item number 2, news on the march, although this could be done as material as well. The men's lacrosse team at Syracuse University will no longer wear their Burn the Boats warm-up shirts.
Oh, geez.
Are you familiar with the Burn the Boats warm-up shirts traditionally worn by the men's lacrosse team, at least at Syracuse, perhaps elsewhere as well? I don't know.
I'm not familiar with that specifically, but I'm familiar with the phrase and why people use it.
And what is your understanding of the phrase "burn the boats"?
My understanding of the phrase is that, because I remember Childress said it one time, where you go ashore, you're fighting.
Yes.
You go ashore, but you burn your boats. And it basically means, no, we're not leaving till the job's done. Right? Am I interpreting it that way?
Pretty close.
Yeah.
But there apparently were complaints that the phrase actually glorifies indigenous genocide. Glorifies indigenous genocide. The slogan, meaning a full commitment to success with no option for retreat, was introduced this season, but 2 alumni did indeed trace the phrase to Conquistador Hernan Cortez's order to destroy his own fleet before the 1519 conquest of Mexico, and condemned "burn the boats" as a deplorable use of settler colonial rhetoric. As I said, probably better offered up as a done as, because we are actually allowed to advance to a place where whatever the original intent, if anybody bothered to look, was, that it has absolutely zero to do in the current context with that particular background. And using it or not using it changes absolutely nothing regarding that history. Nothing. But that's sort of where we are here, unfortunately. Yeah, I probably should have saved that for done as, but I thought it had a little bit of news value as well.
So I wonder what their new slogan's going to be.
Unnamed in the piece I saw. But I'm sure it will be researched carefully.
Yeah.
To be certain that it doesn't have any roots that also is settler colonialist related.
I'm going to have to take a look. Is row the boat? Does that have anything to do with anything?
It's a great question.
I think everybody needs to take a fresh look.
I hope the Smiling Assassin is researching that or having one of his minions do it.
That would be bad because they've really leaned into the oars.
Big time. Yeah. There's no question about that. Scream clubs.
Oh, boy.
Are growing in popularity across the United States. Enabling, I should say, members to come together to screech out their frustration and stress. A Chicago couple created the first such club a year ago after finding that screaming outdoors helped them cope with frustrations, and 16 more groups have popped up in other cities such as Austin, Atlanta, Detroit, and even Seattle. I wonder if there is a chapter here. Do we have a screaming chapter? Is it like, can we get an expansion franchise in it? Maybe that's what you have to do. You got to petition for an expansion franchise. You can't just join the league.
This could replace the bathhouses that we're trying to build. A little different.
Probably be better advised in my own view on that, but we talked about that with Kessler yesterday. I know I'm a rank sentimentalist, but I just think as a general rule, if you go to a bathhouse or a sauna, you shouldn't have to deal with the possibility that you're on a regular basis going to run into a couple of people engaging in, yes, even consensual sex. That's just me. It's just the way I operate. I came here for a steam. That's all I intended here. Sorry if I stepped on you. I didn't see you in the dark. But I digress.
Minnesota Screen Club brings together residents to release stress. They meet Sundays at 5:30.
In Wayzata or Deep Haven?
Public spaces like Lake Nokomis. Sometimes
makes sense.
bridges.
In their outdoor meetings, members do a vocal warm-up and write down the thing they want to release on a slip of paper before screaming together 3 times. It's like putting everything to rest, said Seattle screamer Amber Walker, and we can all start fresh. Does that excite you? Is that something you think you could get some emotions out? Do you think it could be cathartic for you?
I don't think so, but I've never really tried it. Maybe I should. The Smash House thing is another phenomenon along those same lines where people pay money to just break stuff. Have you seen those pop up?
Yeah, that's some of the same stuff.
It's basically the same thing, just unadulterated anger, apparently, for a brief amount of time. It's like punching a pillow when you were a kid. They would tell you to punch a pillow if you're that mad. Never worked for me.
Yeah, I've never that never worked for me either. I don't know. That doesn't, at least in theory, that doesn't sound like something that would. Because I assume the whole idea is this is supposed to be cathartic, right?
Yes, that's the idea.
That's the concept behind it, and unfortunately, I don't think it does pretty much any of that for me. I had 2 other items, and now I've misplaced one of them. We did the lacrosse team thing. Well, I'll wait. I'll hold off on one and get to another. And this one's pretty serious. I mean, this one is a lot more serious, or raises, I think, a lot more serious ramifications than the last couple that we just laid out. And it is. It has to do with the question of, I guess you could say, euthanasia. You know, there's a lot of discussion about how much we should expand legal euthanasia, I should say. It's a very tricky subject, I think. And apparently there's a story out of Spain that is getting a lot of attention involving a 25-year-old woman named Noelia Castillo. She ended her life legally in Barcelona a week ago.
Jeez.
After winning a long court battle against her father and a Catholic advocacy group. I can finally rest, she said, just before taking the medication. Castillo spent her teen years in state-run foster care and was later sexually assaulted multiple times. The worst time, a gang rape in 2022. A few days after that attack, she jumped from a 5th-floor window and was left a paraplegic. Tortured by chronic pain and depression, she asked to end her life under a law Spain had recently passed during the emotional crisis caused by the pandemic. Yet that law was intended to provide a dignified death, in the absence, it was deduced, of a dignified life, to the elderly and terminally ill or to those languishing bedridden, paralyzed, and involved in agony. This writer, this is out of the Week magazine, quoting a writer named Javier Redondo in El Mundo. And he's saying it was not meant for this situation. By giving Castillo the legal means to end her life so young, Spain has stretched the boundaries of euthanasia to include youths who simply lack hope for the life ahead. It's a depressing story. I mean, what she endured is almost unspeakable. But, and there are people, you know, the trend, I think, has been, even here, Canada, North America, United States, there are a lot, I think there's a growing number of people who believe that individuals should have more control over making, adults, presumably, making these kinds of decisions. But the sticky wicket is obvious, is how far do you take it? And in a given moment of vulnerability, or moments even, do you run the risk that individuals do something that if they had given themselves more time, they would regret? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know what the rules are, but I'd love some text via the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line at 64686. Now, so she jumps, according to this story, off of a fifth-floor window, left a paraplegic. Now, if you read what's written in the law here, it indicates individuals bedridden, paralyzed, and intubated and agony. Now, I don't know if they mean all three, two of the three, whatever the case may be. Presumably, well, she was left a paraplegic. So on the basis of the way the law is written, despite her age, does that give her the right to say, I do not want to any longer live under these conditions? It's heavy stuff, man. It's extremely heavy stuff, but I thought it was an interesting story. Had not seen it first time around, and it's getting a lot of pushback in a lot of places. I think it's a fairly liberal policy in Canada as well. I think it's more liberal than here, at least in general. I think I have read about the policies in Canada saying it was, for some people, way too easy. Other locations, a little bit tighter as well. Editorial in another Spanish newspaper. In fact, it was Spain's ethical and democratic duty to respect Castillo's wishes. Once you promise a right to a dignified death, you must let those who qualify go through with it. Fewer than half of those who apply for euthanasia receive it. But Castillo passed all three filters: approval by her doctor, approval by an independent medical authority, and a legal review. The exploitation of her suffering by the Catholic group that sued did nothing but add almost 2 years of pain to her life. Her victory is not a victory for any cause, says another newspaper writer responding or reacting. Instead of debating the politics, we should focus on why we could not help her make a life of value to her. What's truly unbearable was not that she didn't see it, but that we stopped telling her. 64686, Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. Item number, I think this will either be 4 or 5 on this edition of News on the March. This is a Dateline, United Kingdom. How do you pronounce this first name? E-G-I-L. Egil?
E-G-I-L.
Yeah. Egil?
Sure. Yeah, I don't know.
Johansson might be the bravest man in Britain. First, he barred children from his East London pub, the Kenton, after 5 p.m. When that failed to stop, quote, these snack-sized social menaces from spilling customers' drinks and terrorizing their dogs, he decided to ban them altogether. Of course, the problem, as Johansson concedes, really isn't the kids. It's the entitled parents who ignore their responsibility to teach their children how to behave in public. They refuse to acknowledge the misery their nugget-throwing, sticky-fingered, runny-nosed, video game-watching offspring are inflicting on those of us simply trying to enjoy a quiet pint. Instead, they meet your eye with a look that says, go on, I dare you to say something. And that stare worked on me until I had my own kids and learned that unless you lay down a few essential ground rules early on, you'll one day wake up with the spawn of Satan. The spawn of Satan.
Pretty dark.
A crying baby is one thing. Nobody can do much about that. But parents who let their feral brats run riot around the tables or blast cartoons on their tablets at a volume audible to fruit bats in remote settlements in the South Atlantic, they deserve zero tolerance. Let's extend a blanket ban to them in all of our pubs. This is a subject we've explored before. Sort of the rules of the road, so to speak. Because kids are not always calm. Kids are not always reserved. Kids are often obnoxious. And the question I think that has generally been on the table, and to me, this is the clincher. It's not that it's realistic, that other people think it's realistic to always keep your kids in line in public places. The litmus test, for me, I like to think, is some acknowledgement from the parents of those brats. Some effort. I'm trying. I'm sorry this is getting so difficult. Johnny, get your ass over here. Whatever the case may be. That it can become, as frustrating as it might be, the behavior. What's disarming and tends to, I think, work for most people is they're giving it a shot, man. They got a kid who's just a little bit active, and it's not easy, but, man, they're on it. The exasperating part comes when they could care less. And they go, kids are being kids. But the problem with that is that's too convenient a philosophy if you are in a public setting around other people who don't necessarily want to go along with that philosophy. Because that almost seems to say, I'm not going to worry about it. You deal with it. I'm going to blissfully ignore the fact that they are disrupting the 3 tables immediately around us. Is that not fair? It's for me, it's the effort.
You got to try.
You got to try. You may not always succeed.
Yep.
But you at least got to try, don't you?
You got to try, because then I think everybody all of a sudden feels like you're in it together.
Exactly.
Like, we get it. This is tough, especially if other people around have kids as well.
100%.
Yeah, that's at least always been my effort around it. You have to try. And some days it's just not going to work.
Well,
then you can't just shut her down.
That's also true. Hendo in Minneapolis asks, is there really any meaningful distinction between a bathhouse and a scream club?
Wow. Never thought of that.
There might not be at a given moment.
Yeah. Man. Never thought of that.
I hadn't either, but it's very, very, very well played.
Yep.
Guardian Dan, for Burn the Boats, fairly certain it's a Scandinavian Viking Age origin for that phrase. I don't know.
They've used it as well. Vikings lore has used it as well. Not the Minnesota Vikings necessarily, but just the actual Vikings.
Okay. So, they have? As in the Minnesota Vikings?
No.
Oh, you're saying...
In Nordic lore.
In Nordic lore.
That's one of the phrases.
Which in of itself should eliminate the controversy.
You would think.
But if you're not interested in anything but performing and showing everybody else how much more progressive you are than they are, then you're going to double down on the one that fits your purpose, that has absolutely zero to do with the mantra of, in this case, what I say was a lacrosse team.
Syracuse lacrosse.
Scream Club is definitely an outreach of the Democratic Party. We knew it would go political one way or the other, right?
Usually does.
My dad swore about screaming. He said it was therapeutic. We have a club at home to scream, the Twins. Now, is that in acknowledgement of our 4-game sweep? Does he mean scream as in
I don't think
yell
so.
for them good, or is he?
I don't think
is
he's
that
been
a
paying
mocking
attention.
Sort of thing where he's forgotten the fact that all we've done is sweep the Detroit Tigers the last 3 days.
That is clearly not a Twins TV subscriber because he has missed a lot.
Exactly. We already have a non-sexual bathhouse. Well, how many bathhouses do we have? So is a bathhouse synonymous with places that include like sauna, steam, etc.?
I think so. Yeah, that's my understanding from the last few days. But I'm not a great bathhouse mind.
Didn't we have decades ago? I'll have to look this up. I thought we had a controversy surrounding a public official, and I thought it had to do with sexual activity going on in the sauna at Harv and Marv's.
The Northwest Club.
The Northwest Club in Minneapolis. The one at Target's feet, at Target Center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been known to happen at health clubs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know about public official, but that's been an issue over the years.
Interesting. New slogan, do our best without hurting anyone else's feelings. Frozen 4 update, 9:51 left, first period, Wisconsin 2, North Dakota nothing. That's from Trail Ref Guy.
They have started out there.
Frozen 4. That's late, isn't it? But it always is, right?
It's always the week
they
after
always
the
wait.
Final
Yeah,
Four. Yep.
it's a very, very good point. How long was the Wild player with the ruptured testicle out? Good question.
Yeah.
Is that like 2 days? I think it was wasn't it like a minute?
Wasn't very long.
It wasn't long at all,
No,
was it?
it was not very long.
Fast healer. Can KG ride a unicycle? If he could do a show with Red Panda, that would be awesome. I don't expect that. I guess you can hand her the plates.
He could very easily.
That would be easy for him, actually. Yeah.
That'd be a great role for him.
That wouldn't be a bad bit either. I think it all depends on how interested he wants to be and how involved he wants to be, right? Because he's going to be as involved as he wants to be.
That's exactly right.
Top 5 at 5? No, because
Russo
Radio is coming up. Showdown game tonight. Been looking forward to this visit with Russo all day. Wild in Dallas to take on the Stars. Wild 2 points shy of the Stars right now. Is home ice gettable? And how essential is it for your Minnesota Wild to have the best shot to, yes, actually advance out of the first round of the playoffs? We'll get answers to all those questions and more with Russo next.